Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about look at yourself in the mirror before you judge other people. That is the title of today's message, okay? And it's in Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 2 through 5 that I'm going to read. You will receive the same judgment. Whatever you deal out will be dealt out with you. Why do you see the splinter that's in your brother or sister's eye, but don't notice the log in your own eye? How can you say to your brother or sister, let me take the splinter out of your eye when there is a log in your eye? You have deceived yourself. First take the log out of your eye, then you can see clearly to take the splinter out of your brother or sister's eye. We have to realize that we have issues that we are dealing with, that we're working on, we're working through with Jesus, and we have to not be a flaw inspector, but we have to, see the good in people regardless. We have to try to see the good in people no matter what, because we should always be a people that see the good in people first and not be the person that sees the flaws. You know what I'm saying? Because too often than not, we see the flaw, we see the mistakes, we see the things that they need to work on, but we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and see the flaws, see the things that we still are working in, because we have to remind ourselves that we aren't altogether lovely, that we have some issues, we have some things that we are working out, and it's only by God's grace that we are getting better and that we are getting stronger. We have to remind ourselves of that, because if we don't, what can happen is we'll become judgmental, we'll become critical, and it's not even an and if. It will happen if you look at people like you're better than them, and it's a very religious attitude if you think about it, because it's like, oh, you did that, well, you need to get yourself straightened out. It's very judgmental, and you got to be very careful, not to point out other people's flaws, or if someone tells you their struggles in weakness, not in weakness, in confidence, to not expose their weaknesses, because love covers a multitude of sin, and we need to not, expose anyone's flaws anyway, but always talk the best of people. Even people who've wronged us, we should talk the best of them, because that's where true forgiveness comes from, and that's a whole nother lesson in itself. But, we have to look at ourselves and realize that we are a work in process, and we have to really look at our lives and be like, am I treating the people the way that I want to be treated? And if the answer is no, then we gotta work this thing out, and we gotta realize that we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. We're as long as we're on earth, we will make mistakes, okay? But we gotta realize that God is with us, and He's helping us through us. As much grace as God gives us, that is the same measure that we have to give out to other people. In other words, when God gives you grace for every time you make a mistake, and He's not, there's times when He corrects you or whatever, but when He gives you grace and you're not able to give that grace that He gave you, that free gift that He gave you, and you can't give it to someone, and you are always finding the flaw in people, there is a problem with that. We we can't be the people, we shouldn't be the people that always finds the flaw and always points our finger. Oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and blah, 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 blah. Because those type of people are very irritating, because those type of people are very uptight, and they think that they're better than everybody. And the problem with that is they don't, like the Bible says, they're deceived. They themselves are deceived because they don't realize that there's something in their eye. There's a big log in their eye versus something small as like a splinter. What is the difference between, the splinter and the log? Well, the log, in other words, it's like you're pointing the finger of a little splinter, a little sin. You're exposing a little fault in someone else, but you're not willing to look at that log that's in your eye, because you want to see the flaws in other people, but you're not willing to see the goodness in other people. We have to see the goodness in people. Yeah, people will make mistakes, people will fall, but you have to say this, I will fall if it wasn't for God. So we have to give people grace, you know what I'm saying? We have to meet people at the level where they're at and not be so judgmental and so hypocritical, because that's no better than a Pharisee, and we don't want to be like that. We got to love people and meet them where they're at, because that's exactly what Jesus would do. So, and it's easier to judge or to criticize people. It's harder to see the good in people, but if you do it as a habit, it becomes more and more easy. So, see the positivity in people. See the good things in them, and bring the good things out of them, like their destiny, their potential, and try to see the good in people. That's basically all this is to see the good in people. Don't be so quick to see the flaws in people. See the greatness in people before you see the flaws. So, love you guys. I hope this video was an encouragement to you. So, yeah.